Hi, very good morning, one and all. Let us coming to 10th biology. Now we are in the 5th chapter, coordination. Coordination in the sense, the internal organs which can complement one and other to make a purposeful actions is called as a coordination. Is it clear, children? Now we are in a 10th class biology. Now we are in 5th chapter, coordination, the tagline, the linking system. So regarding coordination, the tagline like linking system, what is meant by coordination? How the living organisms can control and coordinate all the activities. Obviously, all the living organisms, especially the human beings, can control and coordinate the internal systems by the mainly two ways. One is neural coordination, the other side is chemical coordination. One is neural coordination, the second one is chemical coordination. So apart from this coordination, already we completed in the previous videos like introduction part, stimulus to response, holding a falling stick activity, integrating pathways and nervous coordination, structure of nerve cell, reflex arc, knee jerk. So these are the concepts we were completed in the previous videos. So now today we are going to discuss about central nervous system, peripheral nervous system and autonomous nervous system. Is it clear, children? Today in this video we are going to discuss about CNS, central nervous system, peripheral nervous system means brain nerves or cranial nerves 12 pairs, obviously the spinal nerves 31 pairs, together 43 pairs, which we called as PNS, peripheral nervous system. So these peripheral nervous system again divided into two types. One is somatic, the second one is autonomous nervous system. Again the autonomous nervous system has two parts, one is sympathetic, parasympathetic. So all these flow chart or the concept tree I was explained in that one complete video. So only the concept tree we were completed in that one particular video. Please watch that video, then you have a brief mind mapping about the general classification or outline classification of the nervous system. Is it clear, children? So let us coming to today, we are going to discuss about central nervous system. So obviously the central nervous system means CNS, the short form of CNS means the central nervous system includes brain and spinal cord. Central nervous system includes brain and spinal cord. So these brain and spinal cord. So let us coming to the brain. This is the structure of human brain. So before coming to the brain, I would like to explain the introduction part of the human brain. See, actually the brain is the highest coordinate center in our body. Actually, the brain is the highest coordinating center in our body. This brain is a vital organ which can control and coordinate all the neural activities. So let us come into the structure of the brain. Actually, the brain is a very soft and delicate and it is having a vital organ so that it can be protected, it can be preserved by a hard, bony, box-like structure that we call as a cranium. Is it clear, children? Actually, the brain is present in the hard, bony, a box-like structure. The brain is a soft and delicate, it's a vital organ. So this is the structure of brain. Is it clear, children? This is the structure of brain. So the brain is having ridges and grooves, means up and downs. See, when we have to observe the human brain, this is the structure of human brain. So brain is having some ridges and grooves, means up and downs. So these ups and downs we call as technically gyri and sulci. So look at the board. So this is the structure of human brain. So this human brain is mainly having the two parts that we call as cerebral hemispheres. See, this is the structure of human brain. So this human brain is having the one long groove which can separate partially into two parts that we call as a cerebral hemisphere. Means hemi means sub. So this is called as a right cerebral hemisphere. This is called as a left cerebral hemisphere. So one amazing thing in our human brain, if any blood clots in a right side part of the brain, which can affect the left side parts, means left hand and left leg may influence. Is it clear, children? What I am saying is, actually the human brain is a vital organ in our body. It is the highest coordinating center which can control and coordinate all the activities. Why? Because our human brain nearly it contains 10 billion neurons, more than 10 billions of neurons. So neuron, as you know, that it is the structural and functional unit of the nervous system. So this brain is protected in that box like structure that we call as a cranium. So that the vertebrates are two types. One is the craniates, acraniates. This we have to learn in that higher classes, means intermediate and degree classes. See, let us coming to that brain has two parts. One is a right and left. This is called as a cerebral hemisphere. Cerebral hemisphere. So these both the parts are tied with a thread-like structure that we call as a meninges. So that brain is not separated. Actually, the right and left brain parts are connecting tightly with the help of the layers we call as meninges. So it is covered by the layers which we usually call as meninges. In our human brain, we are having the three layers that we call as first one is dura mater, arachnoid, pi membrane. Dura mater, arachnoid, pi membrane. How to identify? How to remember in easy? We have to use a word Godavari DAP. Godavari DAP, when we have to remember that word, it is similar to that DAP, means dura mater, arachnoid, pi matter. DAP, dura mater, arachnoid, pi matter. So these are the three layers which usually protects our human brain. So these are right and left cerebral hemispheres were tied with these meninges. Is it clear, children? So between these layers, between the inner layers of the brain, the fluid is present. The fluid which is present in the inner layers that we call as cerebrospinal fluid. The fluid which is present in the brain, the space between the inner layers is filled with a fluid is called as cerebrospinal fluid. So these cerebrospinal fluid can protect the external mechanical shocks. For example, all of a sudden any one person can hit your brain with a hard substance. Of course, our brain cannot be damaged because of first one is the hard bony like structure that we call as a skull, purre or kapalamu, craniates means skull. The second one is the fluid which is present in the brain is called as a cerebrospinal fluid, which can protect from the mechanical shocks like a shock absorbers in that vehicles, which can prevent the damage. So this is called as a cerebrospinal fluid. So till now what we discuss is actually central nervous system includes brain and spinal cord, which can control and coordinate all the neural functions in our body. Is it clear, children? So let us coming to the CNS in our central part of brain. For example, see in our human body, which is the center. So brain is the center. It continuously is spinal cord. So central nervous system includes brain and spinal cord. So brain, actually the brain has mainly three divisions. First one is forehead. That means forebrain, midbrain, hindbrain. Mundu medudu, madhya medudu, venuka medudu. So forebrain is the largest brain. Of course, our total human brain is 1400 grams. What is the total of human brain weight? 1400 grams, 1/4. So 1400 grams, out of 1400 grams of human brain, nearly 900 grams is cerebrum. So this is called as a cerebrum. Cerebrum is the major part of the brain. It is the largest brain. It is also called as forebrain. It is having the three functions. It is having the three layers. First one is gyri and sulci. This is called as a cerebrum. Gyri and sulci is called as a cerebrum. Next one is called as a olfactory lobes, cerebrum and diencephalon. So gyri sulci is called as cerebrum. These right and left cerebral hemispheres are tied with the meninges. These gyri and sulci, these up and downs is called as a gyri and sulci, or ridges or grooves is called as gyri and sulci. Next one is called as a midbrain. Midbrain is having only one part, that is called as the optic lobes. For example, both the eyes, we are having the optic nerves which is crossing over and can reach the information to the brain. This is called as a optic lobes. Olfactory lobes, partial lobes, temporal lobes. So our human body, our human brain is having the 4 types of lobes. Those are called as olfactory lobes, optic lobes, temporal lobes and partial lobes. Actually textbook itself in page number 101, they given that only 2 lobes, and they ask the teacher, and you may ask the teacher and get the information from that other 2 lobes. So that I would like to explain that other 2 lobes. Is it clear, children? So the forebrain is consists of 3 parts. One is cerebrum. Cerebrum is the largest part of brain. It is the center for the region of intelligence, perception, reasoning, logical thinking, mental ability. So all these functions, for example, we are doing the mathematical problems, solving the problems, or arithmetic, reasoning, so perception, intelligence, memory. So all these activities mainly reside in the cerebrum, that means forebrain. So it is the highest coordinate center of brain part. Next one is olfactory lobes, means chemoreceptors or olfactory receptors which can feel the sense of smell. Next one is midbrain, is having the only optic lobes, means the sensory nerves, that means the optic nerve leads to optic lobes. Is it clear, children? Next part is hindbrain, means backside brain. It's also called as small brain. It is very important for maintain the equilibrium. For example, the drunk person, while he is walking on the road, he is unable to control the muscular activity, so that he is walking on that unable to control the body movement. Why? Because the alcohol effect on that hindbrain. So this is called as hindbrain. Hindbrain is also called as cerebellum and medulla oblongata. So this hindbrain is having the 2 parts. Those are called as cerebellum. This is called as a cerebrum. It is the forebrain. Cerebellum is the hindbrain, or the back side of the part is called as a small brain. So this is called as a cerebellum. This is called as a cerebellum. See, in our human brain model, so this is called as a forebrain. This is a gyri and sulci. This is called as a cerebellum. This is called as a cerebellum. This is called as a medulla oblongata. So this cerebellum, medulla oblongata is called as a hindbrain. This is called as a midbrain. This is called as a forebrain. So is it clear, children? So forebrain is also called as cerebrum. Next, midbrain. Hindbrain is also called as cerebellum and medulla oblongata. So cerebellum, what is the purpose of cerebellum in our human brain? It controls the, or it maintains the equilibrium or balance of our body posture. The second one is medulla oblongata. So this medulla oblongata continuation as a spinal cord. So spinal cord is nothing but the continuation of our human brain, like medulla oblongata. So this medulla oblongata continuation as a spinal cord. So this is the structure of human brain. Next, in addition we are having the pons variouli. So pons variouli is nothing but the medulla oblongata. Next portion is called as pons variouli. So this pons variouli continuation as a spinal cord. So the spinal cord is preserved or present in the vertebral column or neural canal. So this neural canal also called as vertebral column. So on behalf of this characteristic feature, the animals are mainly 2 divisions. One is the invertebrates, means lack of vertebral column like Protozoa to Echinodermata, 9 phylums. Vertebrates means fishes to mammals. These 5 phylums are called as vertebrates because of spinal cord. So it is the function of, it is the significance of animals based on this characteristic feature. Is it clear, children? So this is a part of only brain. So till now we discuss about brain. And further we move to the page number 101. Page number 101. There we are having the tabular form of brain and their functions. It is clear, children? So when we move to the textbook page number 101, textbook page number 101, we are having the brain tabular form. So what are the parts of forebrain? Means olfactory lobes, cerebrum, diencephalon. Midbrain means optic lobes. Next, hindbrain means cerebellum, medulla oblongata. So cerebellum means balancing posture, medulla oblongata means vasomotor activities. So see, this is medulla oblongata. Medulla oblongata means vasomotor activities. Cerebellum means maintains the posture. Is it clear, children? So we are going to the textbook page number 101. We are having the detailed information of that brain and their parts and functions. Is it clear, children? Then we move to the structure of spinal cord. So when we have to touch the back side of our body part, so we are feeling that we are having the knobs like structures. Actually, it is the continuation of medulla oblongata, which can travels through this the long canal, which is the back side of our stomach. This is called as the lumbar region. This is called as a thoracic region. This is abdominal region. So this is called as a lumbar region. So actually we are having the kidneys of this dorsal side. Ventral side we are having the heart, lungs, as well as the stomach, means the digestive system. Back side we are having the spinal cord. The side portion, the side of that the spinal cord, we are having the kidneys. So then we move to the we are having the spinal cord. So apart and focus. Which is it? Is it? See, children, regarding central nervous system, till now we discussed about that one part, that is called as a brain. Of course, after completion of the brain, then we move to that the second part of that central nervous system, that is nothing but spinal cord. See, let us come into the spinal cord. Actually, spinal cord is extends from the back of the hindbrain, as we said that medulla oblongata. So spinal cord is nothing but it is not a separate part of our body. It is a part of the brain. So that it is having the equal importance as like our human brain, like this spinal cord. Is it clear, children? Next. So spinal cord extends from the back of the hindbrain, that we call as medulla oblongata. I mean that medulla oblongata extends to the back of the stomach, are also called as lumbar region, through the neural canal, are also called as vertebral column. So spinal cord is preserved, are present and protected by a long canal-like structure that we call as a neural canal or vertebral column. Is it clear? Next. Unlike brain, we are having the difference of the spinal cord. When we are moving to the structure of the spinal cord, the structure of the spinal cord, see here, in this picture, you have to notice that the two different colors. One is grey color, the second one is white color. See, the grey color is present in the center part, whereas the white matter is present in the peripheral side, means outside portion. So as we have to move to the structure of the brain, when we move to the structure of the brain is having a different. See, the white color portion is center, where the peripheral side is a grey color portion. See, the grey matter is peripheral side, white matter is center. It is just opposite to the spinal cord. So while we are moving to the spinal cord, it is completely opposite. Means grey matter is middle, the white matter is peripheral. So what I am saying is, see here, unlike the brain, the spinal cord is having the different colors. The white matter is peripheral, while the grey matter is center. So this is the differentiation between the brain and the spinal cord. Next the thing is, actually regarding this brain, in the early 16th and 17th centuries, the Greek physiologists like Galen and all, they have to notice that the importance of this spinal cord. In the early 16th and 17th centuries, the Greek physiologists they have to recognize the importance of the spinal cord in the 16th and 17th century. Among that scientists, the two members, those are called as Leonardo da Vinci and Stephen Hawking. Leonardo da Vinci and Stephen Hawking both were recorded the survival of the frogs whose brain had been destroyed. The animal still produced the muscular movements. If its skin was pinched, both were observed the animal died. So what is this meaning? Actually, Leonardo da Vinci and Stephen Hawking both were done a small experiment on that frog. So when they have to destroy the brain, even though the frog has been showing the some muscular activity, I mean that the frog when we are giving the anesthesia means they are coming to the some unconsciousness state. So after that they have to dissect and open the brain and they have to remove the brain or destroy the brain. Even though the frog has shown some muscular movements, means forelimbs and hind limbs, still normal. Afterwards, what they have done, they pinch the skin of the spinal cord with a small pin. Immediately, it should be died. So it says about the importance of spinal cord. Even a frog can survive after removal or the destroy the brain, but when they have to pinch the safety pin in the portion of the skin of spinal cord, immediately it should be died off. So it is the importance of spinal cord. And moreover, we already learn and we discuss about the reflex arc. For example, while we are walking on the road, while we are walking in the garden, all of a sudden we have to put our leg on that sharp object or a needle or a thorn. Immediately we have to withdraw our leg or pull our leg. How it is happens? Because of this reflex arc. Reflex arc means spinal cord. Spinal cord plays a vital role in that all of sudden actions. Actually, this information is carrying to the towards to central nervous system through the receptor cells in the leg muscles. So where there is a receptor detect this stimulus to the brain sends the commands to the motor nerve cells of the leg muscles. So between these what happens? The reflex arc, it is a kind of pathway which involves in this reflex arc. So I would like to explain the importance of spinal cord. So write the functions of spinal cord. So how like they are asking the questions based on this information. So what is the function of spinal cord? So as we discussed till now, spinal cord plays a vital role in that all of sudden actions in brackets that we call as a reflex arc. And moreover, according to the Leonardo da Vinci and Stephen Hawking both were recorded a remarkable notice on that frog experiment. They have to decided that this frog has shown the normal muscular activity even though the brain has to be destroyed. Next, when we are moving to the TS of spinal cord. So when we are moving to the TS means transverse section of spinal cord. So let us come into the transverse section of spinal cord. So this is the picture of transverse section of spinal cord. When we are observing the transverse section of spinal cord, we are having the two kinds of roots. So the nerve cells are having the two kinds of roots. One is dorsal side, second one is ventral side. Do you know what is the mean of ventral and dorsal? So this is called as a ventral. Ventral means victory. So the symbol victory shows always in front of our body. That means this is the ventral side. So this is the ventral part. Obviously the second back side is called as a dorsal side. So the spinal cord, for example this is a spinal cord, the spinal cord have that ventral side, dorsal side. So the ventral root and dorsal root, ventral root and dorsal root. So the ventral root is very important, ventral very important, V very important. Why? These ventral root have to show some muscular movements. The ventral root, see here what they are given to the information. Actually, the ventral root evidently shows some muscular movements while the dorsal root did not. So see here. This is called as ventral root evidently control the muscular activity, but the dorsal root did not. I mean that what is the difference between these ventral root and dorsal root of the spinal cord? Actually, the spinal cord is the bridge between the brain and the body parts. Is it clear, children? This is our brain. This is the spinal cord. This is the motor organs, means forelimbs and the hind limbs. So the information passing from the sensory organs towards to the brain and from brain towards to motor organs. So this is the pathway of sensory nerves and motor nerves. So this is the pathway. Here the ventral root can pass the information from the brain towards to motor organs. So that the ventral root is very important. See here, what is the ventral root? See here, this is the ventral root. So ventral root plays a vital role in that reflex arm, which can control the muscular activity, but the dorsal root did not. Ventral root is very important. V for very important. Dorsal did not. Dorsal, D for did not. Ventral very important. Is it clear, children? That is the importance of these hairs of spinal cord. Then we are moving to that another classification. Till now we discussed about CNS, central nervous system, brain and spinal cord, brain portions, brain functions, brain table, brain structure. Next, spinal cord. Spinal cord importance. Spinal cord, these scientists observation, these reflex arc, importance of spinal cord. Next, we move to the peripheral nervous system. Peripheral. What do you mean by peripheral? Peripheral means around the brain, around the spinal cord. We are having the nerves. So those nerves are called as cranial nerves. So as we discuss about that, these brain is also called as a cranium. So the brain nerves are also called as cranial nerves. How many pairs are there in our human body? 12 pairs. How many pairs? 12 pairs. So brain nerves are 12 pairs. So brain nerves or cranial nerves are 12 pairs. 12 pairs means 12 pairs. 24 number are 12 pairs. Next, spinal nerves. Spinal nerves. So these spinal nerves are 31 pairs. So together 43 pairs. 43 pairs. So these we called as a peripheral nervous system. Is it clear, children? So brain is located in the cranium. So brain having the nerves is called as a cranial nerves. These are called as 12 pairs. And the spinal cord is having the 31 pairs. So this is the picture of peripheral nervous system. See, brain is having the 12 pairs and the spinal cord is having the 31 pairs. Total of 43 pairs. So among the 12 pairs, the 10th pair of cranial nerve is very important, that we call as a vagus nerve, which can control our heartbeat. Is it clear, children? So 10th nerve, 10th cranial nerve is called as a vagus nerve, which can control the heart beating. This is called as a peripheral nervous system. See, regarding this peripheral nervous system, actually Charles Bell and Francis Magnet. Charles Bell and Francis Magnet is in the early 19th century. They showed that these spinal cord roots were evident functions. So the spinal cord functions were elevated by the two scientists. Those are called as Charles Bell and Francis Magnet. Next, we are moving to the peripheral nervous system. Actually, peripheral nervous system means brain nerves are cranial nerves 12 pairs, spinal nerves 31 pairs. Together 43 pairs. These peripheral nervous system can control the several internal organs like blood vessels, smooth muscles, cardiac muscles. For example, blood circulation. So several internal activities are controlled by this peripheral nervous system. So that it is also called as autonomous nervous system. Is it clear, children? See, peripheral nervous system means brain nerves or cranial nerves and spinal nerves. Total 43 pairs. So these 43 pairs are called as peripheral nervous system. They were given the picture in the textbook. See, these peripheral nervous system plays a vital role in the autonomous nervous system. Means several internal activities or internal functions are coordinated by this PNS. For example, all of a sudden we are entering into a dark room. All of a sudden we are entering into a classroom. For example, myself, I am traveling from the Mutkur and I have to enter all of a sudden in our classroom. So when I was entering into our classroom, immediately my eyes is having the less dark sight. So I have a poor vision, poor eyesight. Why? Because I am entering from the bright light to dim light. So immediately our eyes is having the two portions. One is iris and pupil. Immediately they have to change the diameter of iris. They allow the more focus, more light, and within a few minutes time I would like to realize, I would like to see to the normal position of the light vision. Is it clear, children? Once again I repeat the illustration or example. All of a sudden I would like to enter into our classroom to teach the class, but when I was entered into that from the dark light, means bright light, to this dark room, my iris is having the less intensity of light. Immediately the iris is have to increase the diameter, it allows the more light. So I would like to increase my eyes to allow the more light. So these diameter and the pupil, the iris and the pupil, they have to change the diameters and they have to come to that normal vision. This is one of the best example to correlate how the iris and these pupil can coordinate the diameter. Is it clear, children? So majority of the internal activities were controlled by this PNS. So that again this PNS is divided into two types. One is somatic nervous system. The second one is autonomous nervous system. Again this autonomous nervous system is having two divisions. One is sympathetic and parasympathetic. Is it clear, children? So ANS, autonomous nervous system. Autonomous means Swayanga, Swayam Chodita Nadi Vyavastha. In Telugu we call as a Swayam Chodita Nadi Vyavastha. So autonomous nervous system, nobody can instruct it to that diameter increase the when we are in that dark light. For example, while we are studying that study hours during the night time, all of a sudden is power off. What happens? Immediately we have to increase our eyes to allow the more light. So after a few minutes we are coming to the normal vision. So this is because of that the change of the diameter of iris and the pupil. This is one of the example. For example, while we are seeing the, we would like to see the bright sunlight, so we have to close our eyes to reduce the diameter of our eye, means intensity of light. This is called as autonomous nervous system. So autonomous nervous system has two types. One is the sympathetic, second one is parasympathetic. So sympathetic and parasympathetic are both the irreversible physical actions, opposite to physical actions. For example, when I am writing the board, I have to raise my hand and write the board, to write up the board. After completion of the task, immediately I have to withdraw my hand. So while I am raising the hand, it is called as an accelerator. While I am remove the hand, it is called as a brake system. So this is called as an opposite reactions. So after completion of my task, I have to remove the hand, but in a slow manner. While I am writing the board, in a fast manner. So these are called as a opposite physical reactions. This is called as a sympathetic and a parasympathetic. It is also plays a vital role. For example, all of a sudden we have to enter into a new house. The dog was unchained. It was not chained. So our heartbeat is increasing. Our blood pressure is increasing. So immediately our brain is very active and conscious. Immediately we have to run away from that the threat. When we are jump the wall, when we are reaching the safe point, so the heartbeat comes to normal, the blood pressure is normal, so we are coming to that normal position from the panic situation. So these are all very important. So while we are running, our heartbeat is increasing, our respiration rate, our breathing rate is increasing. So these are acts like a accelerator and a brake system in the automobile. Is it clear? So autonomous nervous system, one is a sympathetic, second one is a parasympathetic. Those actions are clearly given to the diagrammatic representation in the textbook. See, these are called as autonomous nervous system of sympathetic and parasympathetic. So sympathetic and parasympathetic. Sympathetic means raise, this means down. So this is an accelerator, this is a brake system. So both the opposite physical reactions which can control and coordinate our body. So finally, I would like to conclude the concept. Till now, we discussed about that central nervous system means brain and spinal cord. Peripheral nervous system means brain nerves 12 pairs, or spinal nerves 31 pairs. 4 together 43 pairs are called as a PNS. Again, this PNS or peripheral nervous system is two types. One is a somatic nervous system. Second one is autonomous nervous system. So again, autonomous nervous system is divided into sympathetic and parasympathetic. Thank you, children. Thank you for watching this video.